Hi, welcome to my video on the summary of the relations among trig functions. So we're going to review each of the videos that we did on the relations in this video here. So I have some questions. So if you wish, you can pause your video to see if you can get all these right before I do and see if you get the correct answers. Here we go as a review. State the answer to each in relation to theta. So the tan of theta, we want the relation. Tan is sine theta over cos theta, because tan is opposite over adjacent, and opposite has sine, adjacent has cos. Cosecant is the reciprocal is 1 over, that's a c, so I need an s, so that's sine theta. Cosecant is the reciprocal of sine. Now we have cos of negative theta. So that's, how's it related to cos theta? Well, if you have theta, no matter where theta is, so if you have a first quadrant right here, if you have theta here, then this is a negative theta here. So the cos of theta is positive. The cos of negative theta is also positive. So the cos of negative theta is the same as the cos of theta, because cos is positive in 1 and 4. And we have cot. Again, we have theta. Theta is in the, whatever it is, say in the first quadrant. Negative theta is in the fourth quadrant. So cot in the, let's look at cot of theta. Cot in the first quadrant is positive, so, but cot in the fourth quadrant is negative, so that's the negative. So the cot of negative theta is the negative of cot theta. And again, how I know, remember, I use add sugar to coffee. And when you add sugar to coffee, add sugar to coffee. You start in quadrant 1. So this is all sine, tan, cos. So that's the way I do it. Start in quadrant 1. Now let's look at number 5. Sine of 90 minus theta. So how is that related? So when you go through, these are co-functions. So here's theta. So do sine stay the same or change? And what happens? It changes. So this is the sine of 90 minus theta is the cos of theta. When you go through 90 degree, it will change. The sine will change to a cos. And again, right here, we have secant of 90 minus theta. And secant, again, is going through a 90. And so it's in relation to theta. Secant is cosecant. So cofunctions, sine is cos, secant is cosecant, and if you had 90 minus theta for tan, you would have cot. They're cofunctions. And notice they're all positive, because if theta is in quadrant 1, 90 minus theta is also in quadrant 1, so it remains the same sign. So this is plus, there's no negatives with 90 minus theta. Just you got to change sine to cos, cos to sine. Secant to cosecant, cosecant to secant, or cot to tan, tan to cot, if you do 90 minus theta. So what about if we have 180 minus theta? So if you think about it, we have 180 minus theta. We have theta is in the first quadrant here. So 180 minus theta would rotate it right around, right to here. So there it is. There's 180 minus theta on that rotation. So if this is the reference angle here, this is the reference angle is also the same, because this rotation here on this arc, and this is the same. So these two reference angles are the same. So that means it doesn't change. It's only when you go through 90 minus theta that it'll change the cofunctions. But when you go through 180, the trig function don't change. So that's cos of theta. So let's look at it. What is cos in the first quadrant? Positive. And what's cos in the second quadrant? Negative. So cos is positive in 1 and right here. Cos is positive in 1 and 4 is negative in 2 and 3. So that's why that's negative cos theta. What about cosecant, which is the reciprocal of sine? And we got 90, we have 180 plus theta. So if you have a circle and you have theta as far as here, this rotation, this is theta, and if you take 180 plus theta, that means you're going all the way around right to here, right straight down. So that forms a straight angle. So this reference angle here is the same as this reference angle. And that means, again, cosecant won't change. It's only when you go through 90 minus theta do the cofunctions change. But here they don't. Now this is in terms of theta. So cosecant is the reciprocal of sine. Sine is positive, so cosecant is positive. In this quadrant, sine is negative. So that's the negative cosecant theta. Again, add sugar to coffee. So sine is positive here and sine is negative here. Cosecant is the reciprocal of sine. Number 9, cos squared plus sine squared is equal to 1, the fundamental identity of trig. And 1 plus tan squared, well, if you memorize it, is secant squared. And how do I know? With tan is sine over cosine. So sine over cosine. Cosine is on the bottom, so that means I'm looking at 1 over cosine. So 1 over cosine is secant. So 1 plus tan squared is secant squared. And we have a little bit of extra work to do in number 11. We have the cos of 90 minus theta times the cot of 180 plus theta. Again, going through a 90, we have to do each of these first and then get the answer. Let's see. 90 minus theta, we have to change. So this is the same as the sine of theta. And we multiply the cot of 180 minus theta. When you go through 180, the cot won't change. So you get cot theta. But if you look at in the first quadrant, there's theta right here. And cot is positive here. And you go down to the third quadrant, cot is also positive. Remember, tan is positive in first and third. So cot is the reciprocal. So cot is positive in 1 and 3. So that means that the 180 plus theta, so that's a plus. So that's theta. The cot of theta is positive. And in the third quadrant, 180 plus theta, it's also positive. So that's a positive. So sine theta, cot is cos theta over sine theta. And because we're multiplying, we can cancel. So that becomes cos theta. And we got one more to do. 1 minus sine squared is that belong to the fundamental. The fundamental identity is cos squared plus sine squared is 1. So 1 minus sine squared is cos squared. And we have cos. So that's cos squared divided by cos. So that's the same as cos theta. Note that's, again, cos squared theta divided by cos. That's like an x squared divided by x. You just get x. 5 squared divided by 5 is 5. So this is a review of the videos that we did on the relationship among the trig functions. Just an extra review. And if you like my video, click on the like button, click on the subscribe button if you wish, and visit my math website, www.mathfullyexplained.com, to find more information about me, my videos, and the content. And that's the content on my YouTube channel called Math Fully Explained, just one word. Oops. Thank you for viewing my video. Hope the video helped you. Bye-bye.